As Arsenal manager, it's Mikel Arteta's job to keep ensuring this football club and specifically the football players, the team, the squad, etc., develop, evolve, and reach newer and higher heights consistently. Many people would ask, how do we do that? In terms of what Mikel Arteta believes, we don't know. We're football fans. Who knows? You know, he's made a lot of unpopular decisions and a lot of decisions that on the surface appeared bewildering, but so far it is working out for Arsenal Football Club. So shout out to Mikel Arteta. But in terms of us going on this journey and rising up the ranks and one day achieving Premier League and Champions League glory on a consistent basis, I'm pretty sure one area Mikel Arteta would like to improve on is on the strikers front, bringing in a forward. Now, when it comes to the striker position, the forward position, there's several question marks. What does Arteta specifically want? Does he want a bagsman? Does he want a poacher? Does he want a playmaking kind of striker? As I always say, you know, in a day and age where football has never been about systems and them sort of things more than ever, our first attacker is David Raya, as you can see with his distribution. And in many ways, whether it's Kai Havertz, whether it's Trossard, whether it's Gabriel Jesus, our striker is our first defender. So once again, it begs the question, beyond the obvious of what a striker is paid to do, score goals, what does Mikel Arteta specifically want? What sort of profile is he targeting? Is it a target man? Is it a bagsman? Is it a false nine? Is it someone that presents an aerial presence where you can obviously see we've been doing our thing from set pieces and that would give us something? Is it a proven goal scorer? I might be a bit left with this, but can you rule out us actually signing somebody that is like someone like Trossard who can play on the left, play up front and play through the middle? I don't know, but within the internal Arsenal fan base, we're running several questions through our minds in relation to specifically what sort of profile Mikel Arteta would like or what sort of striker we would like at the club. And as I said, we're doing several calculations, we're turning into accountants and talking about transfer fees. We're talking about, you know, do we sign a striker that's in their prime? Do we sign someone that's a bit raw? Do we sign someone that's a more of a rotational option, a plan B? Do we sign someone that provides a bit more longevity and can grow with the likes of Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, and everybody who is on the right side of the early to late / mid-20s? Late's a bit of a lie, but you get where I'm going. Truthfully, I don't have a clue, people. I really don't have a clue. And it is interesting. I'm sure we're all looking at expected goals, XGs, heat maps, passing, pressures, all the statistics that us wannabe football pundits and whatnot have to go through in an attempt to guide ourselves into what specific sort of profile forward Mikel Arteta and Arsenal Football Club would like. We don't even know what budget we're working with. Yes, we're back in the Champions League. You'd imagine we're going to sell some players, and you'd imagine with KSC there's going to be a fair cash injection similar to last summer to ensure this football club keeps ticking in an upward trajectory. And obviously us football fans, whether you're at work, on your desk, whether you're on a building site, whether you're in school, whether you're in college, depending on the players that are linked with us and the rumours, it depends on what reactions. But I don't think there's a single striker that all us fans universally agree on. Step forward Joshua Zirkzee, who at 22 years of age is drawing a lot of plaudits for his exploits in Serie A. To date, he has made 27 appearances for Bologna, has 4 goals and 10 assists to his name. He came through the Feyenoord system in his native Holland. He is eligible to play for Nigeria and Holland at international level and is yet to be capped as a full international for either party. He obviously came through in his native Holland with Feyenoord, as I just said, before joining Bayern Munich, where he only managed to make 17 appearances where he got 4 goals. Now, it's difficult for any young striker to come through at Bayern Munich, or any player for that matter. He's probably best known in Germany, or specifically at Bayern Munich, for his 4 goals, but 3 of those came within 26 minutes against Hoffenheim. He's had loan spells at Anderlecht in Belgium, in which in 47 appearances, he got 18 goals and 13 assists in all competitions. He has previously played in Italy. He was on loan at Parma before he suffered a serious injury, which only limited him to 4 appearances before he suffered an LCL injury. Since then, he has found his feet in Italy and remains a key player for Thiago Motta's Bologna side, who currently, at the time of making this video, sit 4th in Serie A. On the topic of his current manager, Thiago Motta, he has actually compared Joshua to Ronaldinho. Now, to me as a humble football fan, I think that's a massive, massive, massive exaggeration. But who is better placed to speak? Someone who played with Ronaldinho or myself, people? And you can see why, his goal scoring isn't the best, but he is good in terms of his general play, his passing metrics, the types and varieties of pass he plays, and actually all the other aspects of what being a modern day striker entails, people. I still think he's very raw, but he scores quite high at these things. Now, unless your name is Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, Bukayo Saka, no, I'm joking. But on a serious note, I don't think there's anyone that expects a 22-year-old striker to be the finished article. I know in the present day, you talk up a young player, they play at a decent level. You say they're the next this, that, and the third. If they're not quite there, people say they're overrated. Me personally, I think he's a rough diamond. I don't know for his potential, people. I don't know if he's the right fit for Arsenal. I don't know if he's going to go to higher and higher heights. What I do know is there's a lot to like about him. If you were to just look at his statistics, yes, 10 goals and 4 assists. It's not the most eye-catching. And it's not someone you look at immediately and say that's a curtain raiser for Arsenal. In the same vein, you might say that about a couple of other strikers or other areas. But I think he's intelligent. I think his body positioning can improve, but the way he shields the ball, the way he drops deep, the way he works the channels, his technical level, his final ball, all of these things can be improved. There's an element of rawness to his game, but I think there's a lot to like about him, particularly in a Mikel Arteta system where it's not just about goal scoring. If goal scoring was the be-all and end-all of playing as a striker, Trossard, Gabriel Jesus, Kai Havertz, they would not play through the line, lead the line better yet. I do think there's a lot of transferable skills. In particular, as you could see, if you watch the Italian league for Motta's side, they're a very possession-based, high pressing to a degree side. So I think there is a lot of transferable skills. I think his passing is good. I think for a big man, his heading could improve. Added to that, folks, I do think there's times where he's not slow by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think he's flat-footed a number of times. And obviously in the Prem, it's a very high-intensity league, really. So I do think he's got pace, but I don't think he's the fastest in that regards. Evidently, he doesn't have the strongest of goal-scoring records, and that's something that he's going to have to improve. I don't want to be snooty because the Italian league is difficult to score goals in, but when you look at some of the players that go over there and become prolific or play well, it does make you a bit pessimistic. As I said, I think his body positioning is good, but it could improve a tenfold. And I do think I want to see a bit more in bigger games, if I'm completely honest with you. I know he did very well against Inter Milan, but these are the things I'm looking at. When you look at half the strikers being linked with Arsenal Football Club, as I said at the start, I don't think there's a single striker every Arsenal fan or any Arsenal fan, including myself, can say with 100% conviction that that is the guy to take Arsenal to the other level that we need to go, or to the next level. Now, of course, there's some great players out there. There's some players that you're stronger on than the others. In this day and age where, definitely in my 28, soon to be 29, April the 13th, folks, store the date, there definitely is a shortage of top quality strikers. Why that is, I don't know. Is it because of the systematic issues that the football has evolved into? I'm not sure. I do think being a striker is a bit of a job you can't win. Sure, if you score goals, you're a hero and you're the talisman and stuff like that. But there's strikers out there that can get you 20-odd league goals. People will talk about their assists and their general play. They're strikers, and we've had them at the football club. Gabriel Jesus at this moment, technically Kai Havertz, previously Lacazette, where they are great defensive forwards. They do drop into midfield. They are a bit of a selfless act for the team and evidently quality players, but they don't carry that catalogue of goals or that proven pedigree of goals to get us to the next level. As Arteta said, we need to become a team that gets 100-odd goals. It's not as simple as this, but imagine we had a bagsman that could turn some defeats into draws, some draws into victories, ultimately more points on the board, really, as you're fighting Liverpool and Manchester City for a Premier League title. And again, I'm sure, I hope, like a lot of Arsenal fans, this isn't the only time that we're not only back in the Champions League, but reaching the latter stages of such. Could you imagine how much more confident we would have if we knew we had a talisman, someone that whether we're playing well or not, you give them one chance and they're bagging. I also believe, do you have to take a risk? Because as I said, every striker is a risk, whether it's your Keres, Ivan Toney, Vlahovic, Osimhen, every signing presents a risk. And these guys are obviously more seasoned, more experienced than some of the more Sesco's and Ivan Ferguson's and the man that we're making a video on in Joshua Zirkzee. But strikers have got to come from somewhere, no? You know, half the strikers that were linked with moves last season and have been linked with moves this season, they had to start somewhere. Someone had to take a chance on them, and they haven't always been held in high regards in world football. So hopefully Arsenal scouts have been doing their job and assessing all of these targets. You'd imagine we ran the risk over someone like Zirkzee before. Personally, I don't think we're going to move for him. You can see the price tags that he's being linked with. Do I agree with buying him for 75 odd million euros? If he signed and he was a success, great. But me personally, I'm kind of turning my nose up at that. I think there is individuals that we could get that probably bring a bit more guarantees. And admittedly, I would like a bit more of a seasoned forward, if I'm completely honest with you guys. It'll be extremely interesting to see what Mikel Arteta has planned to take Arsenal to the next level, not just up front, but in all other areas. You'd imagine they've already identified the striker they're going for, indirectly having talks. I don't know if we're going to go for the Osimhens, the Tonys, the Vlahovic's, and what have you, you know, the players that are kind of seasoned veterans, nor do I know if we're going to go for these young, emerging shooting stars, rough diamond kind of players that have the potential to grow with the Sakas, the Martinellis, the Salibas, and so on and so forth. It's a difficult one, really and truly. Who knows, really? And you'd imagine that Mikel Arteta and Edu and everybody else that's a decision maker at the Emirates is running several calculations through their heads about the pros and cons of several striker targets that we're being linked with, or better yet, that they've put on their shortlist at London Coley. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens, folks. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Blessed to all of you lot who have watched this video. Check out the rest of the content. God bless you all. Peace.